Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's award-winning singer, songwriter, and a global citizen based out of Maryland. He studied teaching in Bloomington, Indiana, and also taught throughout the U.S. He lived in Tel Aviv, Andorra, spent time as an eighth grade English teacher on the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona. He also played with Shooter Jennings and Lee DeWise and performed at the Kennedy Center, 930 Club in Washington, D.C., performed throughout the U.S., and he'll be touring your area pretty soon. We'll talk more about that. His new release is an inner travel monologue from the pandemic and beyond, capturing the highs and lows of the global crisis. He's gone in four directions, and he'll have everybody walk, talk, dance, and sing at the same time. We'll talk about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios from beautiful downtown Maryland, somewhere outside Baltimore. The award-winning singer, songwriter, and global citizen from Maryland, going from four directions to walking, talking, dancing, and singing. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Eli Lev. Eli, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Woohoo! What an intro. Great to be here, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board, going from four directions and based out of Maryland. I mean, you got a great stuff here. You're award-winning singer, songwriter, and global citizen. You studied teaching in Bloomington, Indiana. You taught throughout the U.S. You
Yeah.
also taught as an eighth grade English teacher on the Navajo reservation in northern Arizona. You also lived in Tel Aviv and Andorra, and also played with Shooter Jennings and Lee DeWise throughout D.C. And you also toured the U.S. And your latest release, Walk, Talk, Dance, Sing, features quite a number of hits. And you also went in four directions. And we'll talk about that. And before we all do that, Eli, tell us how you first got started.
Yeah, I started writing silly songs from a very early age. I did my middle school talent show, and my first song was called My White Underwear. And it was a huge hit across the sixth and seventh grade class.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Mike, I just got the feeling of the whole auditorium laughing and just having fun and the response, and I was hooked. So I've been writing silly songs ever since.
I think everybody's going to start pulling out the whitey tighties after this here. So I think about that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And what was it one precise moment that simply influenced into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Yeah, I started with like the songwriter, singer-songwriter class of John Denver and Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan. Got a lot of, exposure to Cat Stevens growing up from my mom
Oh,
and
I
dad.
love Cat Stevens, one of my favorites.
Love Cat Stevens. Yeah. And a lot of folks say I'm somewhere in between like Cat Stevens and John Denver.
Hmm.
So those are kind of like the roots of my songwriting. My dad played oboe and my mom played piano and guitar. So music was around from a very early age.
Oh wow. Okay. That's all through the time you were in Maryland. And of course you also toured the US as a teacher. You lived in Andorra and Tel Aviv. And tell us how I first got involved with teaching.
Yeah, it started when I was in university at Indiana, University in Bloomington, Indiana. And there's a program there called Cultural Immersions Program where I could teach overseas, I could teach in an inner city, or I could teach on an American Indian reservation here in the USA. And
Hmm.
I thought to myself, when am I ever going to have a chance to connect with the indigenous populations here in the
Mm.
US like this? So I did my student teaching out in a small town called Shanto, Arizona. It's by
Hmm.
Four Corners, Zion, Bryce Canyon. And after my student teaching, I stayed for 3 years.
Wow.
I was an eighth grade language arts teacher. I taught music, basketball coach, outdoor adventure leader, you name it, I did it.
Sounds like you did a lot. And about your experiences being a Navajo Nation, how did it differ from like all the other schools you taught to as well? So, this is really interesting.
Yeah, it was a whole culture shock, honestly. Instead of progress, they really value balance and equilibrium.
Hmm.
Instead of who's the best or who's the worst, there's a lot of group efforts. So I incorporated that into the classroom, and it really opened up my eyes to a whole new culture.
That is interesting. You also lived in Tel Aviv and Andorra as well too. You do some teaching out in Tel Aviv. Was it vacation or what were we doing in Tel Aviv at the time, especially Andorra? It's like I think I've never heard of that country, but this sounds interesting.
Yeah, I didn't hear of it either until I was there, Mike.
and,
So,
and I'm a geography nut, and here I was
okay.
like, Andorra, where the heck is that?
Yeah. So, after the reservation, I was there for 3 years, and I did a lot. As you could tell, I got a little bit burned out pretty
Hmm.
quickly. So I took the show on the road and started traveling to New Zealand and Australia. And my sister was living in Israel at the time, so I kind of crash landed in Tel Aviv with like no job, no money, no future at all. And I started doing private English lessons
Oh,
in Tel
wow.
Aviv, and I started working for a online company in customer service
Hmm.
randomly because they needed English speakers. And after about a year, they were transferring the customer service office outside the country, probably for tax purposes, Mike, let's be honest. And
Very taxing, I'll tell you.
yeah, and at that time, Andorra was still kind of like a tax-free haven. So they moved the customer service department to Andorra, and they asked everybody in the department, who wants to go to Andorra? And I had only been working there for 9 months. So there was like a list of 10 people in
Wow.
front of me. And one by one, whether it's because their dog or their spouse or their kids or something, they all dropped out. And I was the only one left that they sent to Andorra to start this new customer service department.
That is really interesting. I like to hear more about Andorra. What's the country like? What's the culture like? Where is it located? And everything like that. And maybe we get people to come to Andorra because of you.
Yeah, Andorra is a country of only about 70,000 people. It was established in the Magna Carta back in 1200s, and it was established as a co-principality between Spain and France. It's in the Pyrenees Mountains, right
Mm.
in between Spain and France. It's about maybe 3 hours north of Barcelona by bus.
Oh, wow.
So would fly into Barcelona and take a bus up to Andorra. It is a very mountainous country. There is a lot of skiing and snowboarding in the winter, and in the summer, there's a lot of downhill mountain biking and a lot of nature hiking. So it's a beautiful place.
Oh my gosh, that sounds nice. And you went in four directions in the meantime. And how'd you go in four directions? We'll talk about that with the multi-talent award-winning singer-songwriter, global citizen, Eli Lev here on the Mike Wagner Show. But first, you listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all you need. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson has garnered great reviews, and Eve Levin enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mia Molson, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on our 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Apple Music, Odyssey, Google Play, iTunes, BitChute, Rumble. Make sure you subscribe. And also on YouTube, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well, and take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson. Check it out today. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with award-winning singer-songwriter and global citizen from Maryland, Eli Lev, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we talked about his ventures, getting to sing with his white underwear, and also, touring in Tel Aviv, Andorra, and also taught him teaching in Bloomington, Indiana, taught throughout the U.S., going to northern Arizona on the reservation. You went in 4 directions, literally, and it's an anthology. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so after Andorra, I came back to the USA to get my master's degree in English education. And I was
Mm-hmm.
going to be a teacher for English as second language. So I completed my master's degree. The last semester, I took my solo trip to Sayulita, Mexico. I found a beach on Google Maps. And I was like, I'm going to go there and I'm going to camp out for a couple weeks.
Nice.
So I brought my travel guitar. And Mike, at this time, I was not an independent musician. I had never done music. I never thought about it seriously. But I took my guitar and I was on that beach for a couple weeks and I started playing my songs. And the waves started cheering, and the trees
Nice.
started whispering, and the sand and the sky started really enjoying. And I got a little bit of a signal that if I wanted to pursue this, it was open for me.
Hmm.
So I took that kind of message, I brought it back with me. And after some travels around the US, I ended up back in Silver Spring, Maryland, and was doing Lyft driving and Uber driving, just trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And there was a touring musician who asked me to do a show with him. He found my Facebook
Oh,
page.
wow. Okay.
So I was like, sure, I'll do a show. I'm not really doing much else. So I jumped on the show with him. His name is Kyle Marler, and we did a show in Georgetown in
Mhm.
DC. And 5 people came to that show. Like 2 were my parents and 3 were my friends.
Well, you know something that's a lot bigger than most of the musicians I read about. And of course, you read about Kiss. Their first gig in New York City drew just 4 people, and that was it. So you did better than Kiss in their first gig.
There you go. And Mike, they asked me when my next show was, and it all just snowballed from there. 7 years later, I am a full-time independent musician. I tour for a living. I write, record, and release songs. And I play live shows for people all around the world. It's been a pretty amazing journey.
It sounds like an amazing journey. And it's basically you went all roads east, then it was way out west, then the deep south, and you went true north. I like all that.
Yeah, when I was starting my music career, I didn't really have a path. So I went back to my days on the Navajo Nation in Arizona. And there they have a cosmology around the 4 directions. There are 4 sacred mountains, 4 sacred animals, 4 sacred colors. And so that was really my guide to my music releases. So I released them once a year over 5 years.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Yeah, it sounds like you've done as well too, and maybe about some of the songs and just talk more about the songs and some of your favorites and what inspired you to write them.
Yeah, I think All Roads East, one of my favorite songs is Making Space. It was my first song that I released. And it was really about gathering my community and
Hmm.
gathering the people that were going to support me because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it alone. So Making Space is one of my favorites from All Roads East. One of my favorites from Way Out West is called Oh My Lord. It's a very kind of spiritual, kind of protection song.
Hmm.
My dad knows sign language, so he did sign language as a music video
How do
to
you
the song.
like that?
So it's one of my favorite songs out there. On Deep South, I have a song called Chasing Daylight. It's very happy and positive and upbeat. And on True North, one of my favorites is called Water, and it's about being grateful for the simple things.
That certainly indeed as well too. And this also led up to Walk, Talk, Dance, and Sing. And you got some music out there, which is on all the music channels, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Pandora. You've got Be Your Someone, Dancing in the Lawn, Movies You Do, Vacation, and Singing Along for the First Time. Tell us more about those and what inspired you to write them.
Yeah, after the 4 directions, I had a whole tour planned for 2020, but the pandemic hit in March and my entire tour got canceled. People still wanted music, so I went online and started doing live streams. I called them Folk Fridays.
Folk
Um,
Fridays. I like that one.
yeah, and Mike, I've been doing them for 4 years straight now. So keeping that online, and I started building my community online as well. My online community is called the Levitators. They are
Hmm.
awesome. Levitation, super cheesy, but that's how I roll.
Hey, if it works, it works. That's all.
It
So,
works. It works. I started writing songs around that experience of feeling isolated and feeling connected, feeling like I just wanted to explode in joy, but also very introspective. So Walk, Talk, Dance, Sing is kind of like a pandemic mixtape, you could call it.
hmm, that is rather interesting. You had a lot of influence as well. You had, Cat Stevens, John Denver. Who are some other influences that you had at the time, especially growing up?
Yeah. So growing up, I was definitely listening. I was in the grunge era too, Mike. So I was into
Hmm.
like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and
Oh,
Stone Temple
yeah.
Pilots and Radiohead. And then I got into electronic music in Europe and I got into a variety of just world cultures. Um, Recently, I'm really into the songwriter Noah Kahn. And
Hmm.
obviously, Jason Mraz and Jack Johnson have some great vibes going on. And yeah, there's some awesome talent out there. I like Tyler Childers. He's kind of like a Americana guy from Kentucky.
Hmm.
So I really like to have a diverse range
Hmm.
of listening.
And plus, you got to play with a couple as well too, like Shooter Jennings and also Lee DeWise as well.
Yeah, Shooter Jennings is kind of like the outlaw country guy. He plays with On the Road Again, and then he plays with a bunch of like that whole kind of scene, Willie Nelson scene. So that was great playing with him. And I performed at the 930 Club here in DC a couple times, which was a dream come true. And Lee DeWise was an American Idol winner and got to play with him in Nashville.
Nice. Okay. And you'll be hitting the US yourself as well too. And tell us some of the spots you'll be hitting and where can we find you at?
Yeah, I'll be in Bismarck, North Dakota on April 25th, and I'll be at Laughing Sun Brewing Company. That starts at 7 p.m. It's a free show. You can come on by and enjoy the music. You can expect positivity. I really include the audience with me, so you can send requests, whether it's covers or originals, whatever you want to hear. I'm happy to play them for you, and very excited to be back in Bismarck. Y'all treated me very, very well last time around. I was at Laughing Sun Brewing, so happy to
Oh,
be back.
you got that right. This is one of the best in the business as well, too. And maybe some of the other towns. If we miss you in Bismarck, where else can we catch you?
Yeah, so you can find my tour schedule at eli-lev.com. And if you go to tour dates, there's an interactive tour map. I've also got some Canada dates this time through. But yeah, you can check out there for all the tour dates, and those are kind of updating constantly.
That certainly is as well, too. Going forward directions, walking, talking, dancing, singing. What's come up with the amazing Eli Lev? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Moses Missing. We'll be back with the award-winning singer, songwriter, and global citizen from Maryland, Eli Lev, after this timeout. We're back with the amazing, multi-talented Eli Lev here on the Mike Wagner Show. Walking, talking, dancing, singing, and more. And what else can we expect in 2024 and beyond?
Yeah, so after the Four Directions, Mike, I'm working on my Three Worlds project.
Ooh.
The first EP for that is called Present Journey. Three
Mm-hmm.
songs from Present Journey are already out, and the whole album will be coming out in May. So really excited about that. So first will be Present Journey. After that will be Past Lives. And then after Past Lives will be Future Myths, and that will be the Three Worlds project.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. I'm certainly looking forward to that journey. And also a couple more things. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I think my biggest influence has been my parents, my mom and dad for encouraging me to do music. Just a couple of years of guitar and a few years of piano really set me off on a great pace. My mom set up her own business after she retired.
Oh,
So that
nice.
really inspired me to be like, oh, I can create an LLC. I can make my own business. That's amazing. And they've both been very encouraging from my occupational switch to teaching to music. So they've definitely been a huge influence on me.
Oh, don't you love that journey? I gotta say, it doesn't take four directions and all that. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Really, Mike, is just keep going. It's a long-term adventure. The enjoyment for me has been in the process. It's not about arriving somewhere. It's not about the accolades. It's really about seeing people smile, hearing how they enjoy a song, and just, releasing it to the world and seeing what happens. And that's kind of allowed me to really experience what it's really like to be a full-time independent musician.
And you certainly did as well, too. Once again, we're with the multi-talented, award-winning singer, songwriter, and global citizen, Eli Lev, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Eli, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back, and especially going in another direction. And love to have you back on after your Three Worlds project. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase or check out your music?
Yeah, my website is eli-lev.com, or you can just put in ELI space LEV as in victory in Google, and you can find it. There is where you can join my Levitators community. There's a button on the bottom. There's a merch store. There's my tour dates in my bio, and you can learn more about me. Mike, you're amazing. I can't believe you're doing this for 30 plus years and really giving love to local and international musicians. So I really appreciate you having me on.
And definitely looking forward to having in Bismarck as well, and other parts of the U.S. and the world, especially and Andorra. Maybe you can build an amphitheater up in Andorra too. So
Yeah.
call it the Levitation Arena or something, or the Lev Center in Andorra. I think we'll start that now. It's like I'll have to research Andorra further and reach out. So
Yes, love that.
we'll certainly do that. Once again, Eli, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We love to have you back. Wish you all best. And Eli, You definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike. I hope to see you April 25th at Laughing Sun Brewing Company at 7 p.m. in Bismarck, North Dakota.